Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Mark. Mark is from Australia, but he lives in London. So let's see what Mark has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello. Hi, William. How you doing?
Hello, Mark. I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Great to see your smiling face.
Oh, you too. I love your t-shirt. I can see a
Thank
little
you.
bit of it. Oh,
Can you see?
wow.
It's
Yes.
it's from Brazil. It's from Benito in Brazil.
Oh my God. Actually, it's very near where I come from in Brazil.
Yeah. No, I went to Brazil and got the t-shirt, so there you go.
Oh, wow. When was your trip to Brazil?
It was at 9 years ago, so it's quite a while ago now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And did you visit just Bonito or different parts in Brazil?
Went to Bonito, Sao Paulo, Rio, as well. Yeah, for a trip, and which was great. I'd love to go back, but I just haven't had a chance to go back. There's been so many other places I've been traveling to because as a travel writer mostly now, I'm always visiting new places if I can to try and do new stories on them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark. So tell me where you're from.
So originally I'm from Australia, so I was born in Melbourne.
Uh-huh.
Some years ago. So the home of not only Kylie Minogue, but also the home of Dame Edna Everage, who just recently passed away. God bless her, rest in peace. So so I was born in Melbourne, in Australia, but I've lived in the UK twice. I lived here for 2 years when I was working on the pop magazine Smash Hits here for 2 years, and then I went back to live in Sydney. Lived in Sydney for a few years. Then I moved to Germany, and I lived in Germany for 7 years.
Wow.
And then I moved back to Sydney. I lived in Sydney for a few years, and now I've been living here in London again now for almost 11 years.
Wow. And then you plan to stay in London for a long while?
I love London, and I would like to be able to have a place here. But I think the plan is, my husband and I, as we get a bit older, we would like to have a place we can retire to, so that we're not always in London. London's a great place. It's exciting, like with all big cities, lots happening, lots to do. But I think as you get older, you kind of sometimes you need to be able to step away from that, and you want a little bit of peace and quiet, and not so much having to get the tube or the train and sort of the hustle and the bustle and everything, all the Russian stuff. So our plan is that we actually would like to have a retirement place in Greece, is where we're planning to go to, so that we're there at least for maybe half of the year, and then maybe London, maybe not in the house we're in now, maybe in a much smaller place. I'm guessing as we get older, perhaps. So
I see. And your husband is from Australia as well?
my husband, he's actually born. He's born in Nigeria, but he's of Indian origin. But he actually grew up in Kenya as well. So he's Indo-African origin, basically. Yeah, but he's lived in the UK for many years as well. And we actually met in Australia. We met just before Mardi Gras 11 years ago. We met
Wow.
2 days before Mardi Gras. We met at a party, and we were very old fashioned. We had a quick kiss. We exchanged phone numbers, and then we saw each other 2 days later again. We met up again at Mardi Gras, the big party in Sydney, 2 days later, and then after the during the party, I said, "Would you like to come to my place?" And then he came and stayed with me for 5 days, and here we are, 11 years later. So,
Oh my God.
and we've been
Beautiful.
married for 8 years now. We got married 8 years ago. So,
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
yeah.
And Mark, what do you do for work, for living?
So I'm a journalist, and I used to, well, I still do a lot of music things. So I've written a couple of books recently. I wrote a Madonna book and also a book on Kylie Minogue that both came out last year. But I'm a journalist, so I mostly write for magazines and for newspapers and so on. So as for Smash Hits, the magazine I mentioned, I've written for them for many years, both in the UK and Australia, and I was the editor of the Australian edition. And then for the last 20 plus years, I think it was 2001 is when I started. I've been writing for DNA, which is the Australia's biggest selling gay magazine. So I've been doing their music reviews, music interviews, and also now since I moved to the UK, I'm doing a lot of travel writing for them as well. So lots of travel stuff for them as well. I'm doing so this Friday actually, I'm traveling to the Cayman Islands in the Caribbean, and there's a big gay scuba group of about 40 people, 40 gay guys who are going scuba diving. So I'm going to do a story on that then, because the Caribbean is not generally thought of as being a very sort of gay friendly kind of a destination, but the Cayman Islands, hopefully that's the case. So I'm gonna do a story in that. So that's my next project, basically, my next thing, story.
Oh, wow. And how long going to be there for this
So
project?
so I'm in Miami for one night, then fly to Cayman Islands for it's a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a scuba diver myself. My husband is. He loves scuba diving. That's his passion. That's his thing. But I'll be a snorkeler, and also I'll be doing the story. And the good thing is, so with the travel writing, I do the writing. But when I moved to London, I said to the magazine, I said, look, I can do lots of travel stories now because I'm based in London. And they said, that's great. And I thought, where will I get the pictures from, the photos, because, travel stories, it's all about the photos. They call it, travel porn, basically. And so what I did was I enrolled at the London School of Photography, and I did a course then. I bought a camera, did a course for 6 months, learned how to use a camera, how to take proper photos and things. I mean, I had a good experience from working in magazines for years, so I always kind of knew, like, this is the right photo to use, and this is what the shot is, kind of thing. So I had all that kind of knowledge. So now I can provide not just the text or the story, but also the photography as well for the story. So I can give them to them in one big bundle. So that's the nice thing about it as well.
Amazing. Okay, so for the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career, about your journey so far in life, okay?
Oh, okay, go crazy, knock yourself out.
Mark, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Of course, yes. Look, I'm ready for my beautiful journey. See.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Okay, full of random fun questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, I'll relax and I'll put a different hat on to relax. Yeah, I'll put my relaxing hat. Miss that.
Amazing.
I'm a man of many different hats, you see. So I'm used to people dancing, so I love to dance. I'm very good at the floss, by the way. That's one of the things I taught myself during lockdown is how to floss. Yeah, the floss. So yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, Mark, just before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay, sure.
Right. First question for you is, describe yourself in one positive and one negative word only.
I think in one word, I would say I am positive. So positive is the word. And the other word that perhaps it can be a negative is impatient. I always desperate to sort of do things and have things done, not quickly, but properly. So, that's maybe I'm too impatient sometimes.
Saying that, when you think about analyzing yourself, when you think about yourself, what do you like the most about being yourself?
I like the fact that I made my journey, basically. People say to me, when did you come out, for example? And I'm like, well, I never came out because I was always out. I mean, I always knew I was gay. I always knew I was not just sexually attracted to men, but romantically attracted to men. And for me, that's what gay is about. If you're romantically attracted, like that's who you connect with romantically. So I was always romantically attached to men or male people. And so my journey has been very much I've created because, I came out in the 80s, which is, was not the greatest time to come out, obviously, with AIDS going on and also, lots of prejudice and all that kind of stuff. But, there I was, I find it quite amazing these days that I was just going into gay marches. And the place where I grew up in Queensland, Australia, that's the state, it was called like the Deep North. It was like the redneck state. In Australia, they had a very, very repressive right-wing government from Joe Bjelke-Petersen. So, for me to get up, in the mid-80s and be marching down the street, I mean, anything could have happened, but I didn't care. I thought, I'm gay and I'm proud and I want to do this and it's important kind of thing. And there was like a force within me. And I think often when you're a young person, you feel that force and feel that passion and you just have to do it kind of thing. So I felt like I just had to do it. And that's what I'm kind of proud of, that I just did I made my own journey. I made things happen for myself. If I wanted to go and work somewhere, I wrote people a letter, like the Pop magazine. I wrote them a letter and I said, I'm amazing. You need to have me on staff. And then they gave me a job, and things like that happen. So I've kind of made things happen for myself. I haven't waited for it. And I think that's what I'm maybe most proud of as well.
Amazing. Very good.
Thank you.
That's what life is about. It's about you being truly to yourself, like express yourself, the real you, the way you are. Not easy sometimes, you know what I mean? But if you try the best, I think we are lucky when we can be ourselves and also, just express the way you are, our true self.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to have a sense of yourself. That's important, I think.
Yeah.
Who's sort of unsure of themselves while watching this. I mean, have a sense what's important for you, and how not how would you like to be remembered, but how do you think, you see yourself in 20, 30 years, have a vision kind of thing that you want to sort of work towards. I think that's important.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Next question is, what is the funniest gift have ever received?
The funniest gift I've ever received. You know what? The funniest gift I've ever received. I wish I still have it actually, but my ex-partner has it. It's when I met Janet Jackson, and she gave me a fluffy black cat because backstage at her concert in Rotterdam, because that was when it was the Rhythm Nation concert, and I'd gone to review the concert, and she gave me a black cat because that was the name of the record that was out at that time, her Black Cat single. So, and I still have it, and of course it's called Janet. So.
Oh my God, what a privilege to meet Janet Jackson. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. That was one of the nice things about working that job, is that, you got to meet these people. And the thing is, after a while, you kind of realize the people who are nice and that you connect with, they're usually the ones who have a proper career. The ones who make it difficult or nasty or whatever, not negative, they usually don't last in the business. So it's the nice ones that usually last. Yeah. So.
Cool. I'm sure you know what you're talking about. I'm sure.
After so many years, you would hope so, wouldn't you? So yeah.
Next one, let's do it. Before the next question, tell me about your books, Madonna song by song and Kylie Minogue song by song. So tell me about it. What was the idea, the creation? Walk me for a little bit about the project.
All right. Well, I'll just try and condense it down for you because it can be a long story, but I'll make it quite short. So a friend of mine in Australia, his name is Ian Cole, and he is the world's leading authority on ABBA, the Swedish pop group ABBA. And he was asked to write a book in this series called Song by Song. And they'd had lots of other rock bands, and they decided they were going to do ABBA, and they'd asked him to write the book. And he contacted me, and he said, look, they've asked me to write the book. I'm not a writer, but I like the way that you write, and I've read your stuff in Smash Hits and DNA magazine and other stuff. Could you help me? And I said, of course, sure. So I helped him. So I gave him some sort of help with that work. No, I didn't write it. I just sort of coached him and gave him some feedback and so on. And I really enjoyed that. And when I was finished with that, I thought, I'd really like to read the Madonna one in this book series. I would love to, as a fan of Madonna, I would love to have that book. And then I realized there wasn't one. And so this is another case where I thought, you know what, well, I'll write that book then, I'll do it. So I contacted the publisher and said, let me write that book. And they said, okay, great. And then lockdown happened, actually, the very first lockdown happened. So boom. So then for the next 6 months, I just spent 6 months of lockdown working on that book kind of thing. And that was my project that got me through the first lockdown. And then as we came out of the first lockdown, I contacted the publisher again, and they said, I said, look, I've done the Madonna book. Actually, I thought I could probably do you another one, which is a Kylie Minogue book. And they said, oh, that would be great. We'd love that as well. And then boom, we went into the next lockdown. And then so the next 6 months then after that was then spent doing my Kylie Minogue book. And then finally, when we came out of the lockdowns, then the books came out last year, around like Madonna came around March of last year, 2022. And then the Kylie one came out a month later. So it almost seemed like I'd written these books within weeks, but actually they'd both taken a long time during lockdown. They were my lockdown projects. Besides, as I said, also teaching myself how to dance the floss. So that was my other project then. So I had a bit of exercise as well as just writing. So it was very intense. They have since asked me to write about 8 other books in the series, and I've had to say no to them because they're just artists that, I might be like the Bee Gees or Robbie Williams, they've asked me to do, and Pet Shop Boys. They're artists that I like, but I think I'm not enough of a big fan to also want to devote 6 months of my life to them, because to do them properly and to do them justice, you really need to, spend 6 months of your life doing those books. And so I kind of moved on to doing other things now.
I see. All right. Next question is, do you have any pet peeves?
My pet peeves. I think only the thing that that I'm impatient. Maybe that's my thing that I'm always, people hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, that kind of thing. Maybe that's my pet peeve. Maybe, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Next
I
question.
hate waiting. I hate waiting. Sorry.
Say again. No, say again.
I said I hate waiting for things. For me, waiting is lost time. When I could be doing something important. So if I'm waiting for something, I just kind of that drives me nuts, basically. So yeah,
What is your star sign?
I'm Aries.
Okay. I
So
thought you were...
temperamental, fiery, but also romantic. So
There we go.
yeah.
Next one. Next question for you is, who in your family you trade place with and why?
In my family,
Yeah.
to be honest, I don't think I'd trade places with anyone in my family. I mean, I have. You're talking about my biological family or my chosen family? Because for me, as a gay person, there's two parts of my family. So, you know what? I really wouldn't trade my life with anyone because I had such an amazing life. I've done such amazing things, and I really wouldn't want to trade because the rest of my family are people who have, they got married, they had kids, they went to the suburbs, and they had their lives. That's not my life. That was never my dream to do that. My dream was always to go to London, to write for a pop magazine, to meet pop stars, to interview them, to be around music and pop culture and all that kind of stuff. So, I've lived my dream basically, which I think is the greatest thing that you can do in life. And also I've managed to make a living from it too, which is also quite pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think living from something that you love, you have passion, it's a gift.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. It's one of life's greatest gifts, truly. Yeah.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it.
Okay.
Next question for you is, what will be the title of your memoir?
The title of my memoir. You know what? I have written one already, actually, and I've just sort of been sitting on it and thinking, what should I do with this? Because it's two stories in one, because it's the stories of all my the pop stars and the pop culture and all of that, but it's also my personal story as well and the things that I've been through as a person. So I'm just trying to work out, is there two books in that, or is there one book that folds those together that can do that? So at the moment, I'm just not sure. At the moment, it's called Poptastic. That's what the book is called. And it's also because I also on Facebook, I have a page called, a site called Poptastic. And so every day I sort of curate pages or things from the archives of Smash Hits, the magazine, and so put them up. So, like 40 years ago, Duran Duran were on the cover of Smash Hits, or 30 years ago, Madonna was interviewed and said this kind of thing and stuff like that. So, that's another part. So every day I'm doing that. So that's it's called Poptastic. So that's why at the moment my book is kind of called Poptastic, and with an exclamation mark too, by the way. So Poptastic.
Amazing. Ready for another one?
Sorry?
Ready for another question?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next question. Before the next one, tell me, what do you miss the most from Australia? When you think about your country, what's something that you go like, wow, that's something that's always going to have a special place in my heart?
There's the one thing that I really miss. I mean, okay, I miss the beaches and I miss the warmth sometimes, being in London. But the thing that I really miss is the friendliness. That's something I really miss. Australia's just very friendly, very helpful, very easygoing. So that's the thing I'd miss the most, I think, about Australia.
I see. All right. Next question is, what makes you the happiest?
What makes me the happiest is doing things that I love. And so that whether that's travel, being with my husband, sometimes it can just be I'm in bed cuddling my husband and my dogs are on the bed as well. I mean, for me, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that's for me the greatest thing, really.
What's the biggest difference between you and your husband, and the biggest similarity?
The biggest difference is, the biggest difference between me and my husband. We're actually very similar, even though we don't look very, very much the same. I mean, he's dark, obviously he's Indian, and a bit shorter than me, and obviously looks very different to me. We do actually have a lot of thoughts in common. We're on the same wavelength, which I think that's what you need to be. So even though people would look at us and think, they don't go together. They don't match. Actually, we do match actually really well. We have the same thoughts. And I think also not just the same thoughts about things, but also politically, we think the same thing. So, and I think for me, it's so important for me to be able to talk to someone and that they understand my political views and they agree with them and they come from the same place. For me, that's the most important thing. I think, to be honest, for me, I can't really think of anything where we don't really sort of fit. Perhaps the fact that he's a top and I'm a bottom, perhaps maybe that's it. I don't know.
Next question, let's do it. Before the next one, tell me, as yours mentioned about, your 6 months of putting, Madonna's book together and also Kylie Minogue as well.
Yeah.
What did you find most challenging about?
The most challenging was the fact that I had too much information. That's the problem. And because, there's now, especially with the internet, there's just all this information about, I mean, even just Wikipedia, there's so much information. So it was about how do I condense this into a book, but make it so it's readable, but also not so it's just stuff that you can find anywhere else. So I had to really sort of try hard to find stuff that was really interesting and just try and fold things together and make so you're telling a stories. The other thing is, I mean, Wikipedia gives you the facts, but it doesn't really give you the context. So, so for example, one of Madonna's albums is MDNA, which came out in 2012, a decade ago or so. And, you can just take that album as like, here's this song, here's that song, here's that song. But actually, obviously, it's a song she made when she's really bitter and angry still about her divorce from director Guy Ritchie. And so that infuses all of what's going on there. So you need to tell that story and sort of be able to, weave that in there as well. And so that the message is there. So people understand, okay, this is where she's coming from. And so that gives you that context. And so it's much more understandable. And I think that's the beauty of the books for both the Madonna one and the Kylie Minogue is you get the facts that you need, but you also get the context as well.
All right. Next question for you is, what's the biggest prize you ever won?
The biggest prize I had a funny dream that you were going to ask me that question. And I'm just trying to think, have I won any I don't think I've ever won any. The only prize that I've ever won was when I came second in a poetry contest when I was 10.
Wow.
No, but I did win. I also won a German-speaking contest. That's right. I did when I was at school. I won a German-speaking contest, and I got a big book of Aladdin und die Wanderlamp, which is Aladdin and the lamp kind of thing. And I've got this German book, so I won a prize for my German-speaking, and which is kind of ironic because then many years later I moved to Germany, and then I learned to speak German properly in Germany. So there was always a kind of a German connection there somehow, which is odd.
Amazing. 3 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Really? Oh no. I better put another hat on. Is it an exciting question or not?
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, I put my exciting hat on. There we go. How's that?
There we go. Next question is, what is the worst first date have you ever been on?
Ooh, the worst first date I've ever been on. You know what? I'm not really someone who's gone on sort of those kind of things. My husband laughs and thinks it's really funny that I've only been single for 2 weeks since I was 18. I've literally always had a partner and then the next partner and then the next one. So I've never really gone on dates or something. It's always been like, there's my next partner. I'm like a serial monogamous. So I mean, my first relationship was 7 years. Then my next one was 14 years. My next one was 2 years. And now we've been together for 11 years. So I'm literally like I'm a nesting lesbian. That's literally what I am. I'm not a gay man. I'm really a lesbian who just likes to nest, really. So there's not really any dates for me. There's just, there's just men in my life. So
tell me, what's the most romantic thing your partner has ever done for you? Any of them, like all your partners that you had, which one you go like, okay, that's a moment that I'll never forget. Always gonna have a special place in my heart.
Gosh, there's a few that stick in my mind, but I think just especially for my husband now, I think the greatest gift that he ever gave me was of forgiveness. And that was when I really struggled for a few years with addiction issues. with crystal meth, and it was a very hard journey there. And he stood by me. He was there for me. He helped me go to rehab, and he supported me through that kind of thing. So, to be honest, I think that's the most romantic thing that anyone can do, is to stand by you in tough times. And so, yes, I think that would have to be that one, really.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
I better have another hat then. Okay.
Wow, look at that, Dancing Queen.
Yeah. It's from the ABBA show, from the ABBA Voyage show in London.
Actually, I went a few weeks ago I'm a big fan of ABBA, and my friend, a good friend of mine, he lives in Holland. He's Portuguese, along with another Brazilian friend from Dublin, and we got together to see ABBA Voyage. What a show!
Great show. Wow. It's amazing. I mean,
I got emotional. I got emotional twice.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. I'm going again to see it again, and every time I get chills, because it's literally like my childhood. I mean, I've said this before in other news, but ABBA literally saved my life as a kid. You know, ABBA were my safe place, my happy place when I was a kid, because, you know, I was tormented and bullied by my brothers and so on, and, you know, for being gay and for being different. And so ABBA for me were my happy place. You know, if I just needed to shut all that noise down and all that negativity, I would just go and put my ABBA records on. And it was also, then my parents bought me a typewriter for my 10th birthday for Christmas. And so I would then just be writing record reviews of ABBA kind of things and just put them in my ABBA scrapbooks, for nobody else, just for me kind of thing. So literally I was always destined to be a writer and a journalist. That's the other thing. And, you know, and here I am still writing about, you know, I still write stuff about ABBA these days, you know, and so that's a great joy. And to see the show is just amazing. I mean, just, it's not even just nostalgia. It's something beyond nostalgia. It's just it's so beautiful. It really is.
It is. Yeah. Next question is, what makes you a unique person?
What makes me a unique person? I think, aren't we all unique person? I would like to think we're all special. We're all different. I mean, we all have flaws. We all have things that, you know, we're maybe not so proud of, or we have things journeys that we've been through that hopefully we get past, and we can also learn to let go of things. I mean, that's something that's been a great gift for me, is being able to learn to let go. Like when my father died, I mean, I really struggled so much with that, because my father was really a monster. You know, he was an alcoholic who abused my mother, and, you know, he played Russian roulette with my mother, you know, I mean, and, you know, so then when he died, it's kind of like, so how do you deal with someone? He was my father, but then he did these horrible things and stuff. So I really had to find some way of getting peace with that. And I think, you know, that would maybe be what I would say to people, is find some way of getting peace, and then you can let go of stuff and it doesn't hold you back anymore. It's not like baggage that you're carrying. You can just let it go. And, you know, that my father is with me, but he doesn't define me. And that's what I've learned basically as well.
Oh, beautiful. Ready for the last question, Mark?
Oh, last question. Okay, I'll put my last hat on. Okay. It's my Madam X hat.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Last question. Let's do it. Before the last question, through your career as a journalist, tell me, for me, a moment that you're going to go like, wow, that moment in my career, it will always be there. I'm always going to remember that moment. Could be anything. What you could share?
Am I only allowed only one moment, is it?
Let's do one that will go like, that's the highest, you know, of anything.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I mean, I was going to tell you at the time that, you know, I was interviewing Kylie Minogue, and we were playing records, and then there was but I'll tell you another story. But probably when I was in Cannes at the film festival in 1991, I was sent there by the magazine to cover Madonna's Truth or Dare in Bed with Madonna movie, the documentary, and so she was premiering there, and I went there for that, and I went to her party that she held at this amazing hotel there that was just like beyond opulent, basically. And you know, you know, I was standing at one point. There was Tina Turner was next to me, and Dolph Lundgren, who was like the big action star, was next to me on the other side. And there were, you know, then there was all these sort of, you know, huge names. And then at some point, Madonna and her entourage came past. And Madonna's very small. That's the other thing. I mean, she's very small, a bit like Kylie, very small. Big stars, very small. And she and her entourage, they're all just sort of moved past, almost like a hovercraft. If you've ever seen a hovercraft, the way it moves across water, it was like that, just sort of like that kind of thing. And sort of being near that, being at that party, being there. I think for me, that was kind of like, you know what? I finally felt like I've made it now. This is as good as it's kind of get kind of thing. There were times when it got better, actually even better, but that was the moment where I thought, you know what? I'm so happy that I did what I believed in, that I followed my dream, because, you know, this is where it got me kind of thing, to Madonna's fabulous party. So.
Wow, wow. Last question for you is, if you could have been a moment or event in history, which one that would be?
A moment or event in history. You know, I've always been really, really fascinated with the Holocaust, actually. And you know, I used to, when I was a university student, you know, I would just spend days, if not weeks, you know, just studying stuff, because I studied international relations as one of my subjects at university. I would just spend days and weeks just pouring through all this stuff, kind of thing, about the Holocaust, and not in a sort of a ghoulish way, but just trying to get an understanding of, you know, man's inhumanity to man, kind of thing, how people could do this to each other. And I just really felt like, you know, I had some connection. And the interesting thing is, so much later, I had two partners later in life. One of them was German and one of them was Israeli. And my German partner, his parents were in the war. One of his father was a soldier, a teenage soldier, a soldier boy for the Nazis, and his mother was a leader in the Hitler Youth. And then my Israeli partner, his parents were, this is really interesting. They were both in Auschwitz, in the concentration camp. They met at Auschwitz and they survived Auschwitz. And the reason they survived Auschwitz was because they were on Schindler's List. You know, and if you've seen the movie, then you know the people who managed to sort of help to save. So he managed to save their lives, and they emigrated then to Israel, a few years after the war, and married, kind of thing, and they'd met at Auschwitz. And my boyfriend at the time, he was their grandson, and they had since died, the grandparents. And we went to Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem, and we went there, and there's a big room there where you can find details on every single person who was ever in the Holocaust. And because I could speak German, I could then help him trace his parents. And one of his parents came from Braunschweig, which was then Germany, and his grandmother came from Latvia. And I was able to help him trace them. We found the cards and the information then about his grandparents then there. And that was such an amazing moment. I'll never forget that. And if you've ever been to Yad Vashem, it is such an amazing building, because you go through the story of the Holocaust as well, through all these rooms and things. But then at the end, it comes up, it goes up like this, and it points up, and you walk up as if you're going towards the sky. And you realize, and as you sort of come out, you realize the point of this is that there is always hope. That even through the most terrible, horrible things that can happen, if you have hope, you can get past things and things will get better. And for me, that's such a beautiful thing. That's architecture telling a beautiful story. And that place is just amazing. So a very long story, but you know, that's for me is something very special for me as well, that I feel that I'm a part of. And I have been to Auschwitz as well recently, and a year or two ago, and I did a story on that for DNA as well. And I was very proud that I could do that story, do the photos, and be there. And sort of, it is special. I've also been to Dachau, is another one. And also when I used to be in Germany, and I used to teach in Germany, I was teaching business English. I did courses there. And one of the places I taught was next to a former concentration camp in the place called Oranienburg. And so that also for me has a very connected space. And also, interestingly enough, when I was teaching there, that was the place, I had a little radio with me in the evening, and that's the place that I heard Madonna's Frozen for the first time. And Madonna's Frozen is my favorite song of all time. And to hear that Frozen song in this place, you know, with all that history and all that's gone on around it, you know, you're frozen and your heart is open unless your heart is open. It just felt monumental to me. It just felt so moving. And so I can always feel that and sense of, you know, that song is so important for me as well in the story.
Wow, amazing. Good. So then, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, and you can try your head. Okay, back to your head.
It's a special hat for this.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. One word for family.
Love.
Money.
Yes. Necessary.
Okay. Love.
Love. Husband.
Life.
Journey.
Sex.
Special.
Politics.
Important.
Religion.
Spirituality.
Fear.
Angst.
Friendship.
Lifelong.
Desire.
Magic.
Regret.
Forget.
Success.
Success. I'm just trying to think of saying something in one word. Success. Kindness.
Wish.
Peace.
Happiness.
Contentment.
One word for London.
Busy.
One word for Australia.
Carefree.
One word for journalist.
Hardworking. That's with the hyphen.
And the last two now. One word for Kylie Minogue.
Sweet. Very sweet.
And the last one now, Madonna. One word.
Icon.
Wow. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your husband for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, define Marc in one positive word and one negative word only. What he would say.
Gosh, my husband. I mean, I'm sure he would only say lovely things about me. I think I need another hat for this. Hang on. Okay, put this one on. So I think he would say that I'm amazing with, that I have a childlike quality, that I'm amazing with children. Like we're helping to co-parent our friend's child, which is an amazing part of our lives. And it's just such a beautiful thing to be a dad at kind of like a dad at this stage as well. And something I always wanted, and to be paternal is also such a great gift and a joy as well. So I'm really enjoying things. So I think he would say I make a great dad, or a great role model for a child's life, I think is probably what he would say. And maybe as a negative, he would say that I probably do the floss too often. I try to teach everyone I meet how to do the floss, and he gets so embarrassed by me doing the floss wherever I am. And I'm so proud that I taught myself how to do the floss.
Good, very good. Let's play now, Marc, in the magic box. And you can ask me a question. Okay, Marc, you can ask me a question now.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say is the most important thing in your life right now?
Oh my God, beautiful question. Beautiful question. My God, actually, I was about to say something like, but let me think properly about that, because I love the question. What's the most important thing in my life right now? Okay, it's gonna sound cliche, yeah, but it's the first thing that came to my mind straight away, and I was trying to figure out if it would be the, you know what I mean? But it's the magic box, Marc. It is the most important thing in my life right now, and I'll tell you why. Through my life, I always admire people, like when they, you know, when they were like, you know what, I don't work. I have a, you know what I mean? I dream. I don't feel like working. I enjoy what I do. That's my passion in life. That's what I came this world for. And for me, and saying that, I strongly believe as well, all of us, we can do different things and still be happy and live the best of our lives. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. But I was asking myself, my goodness, what's something that, you know, that okay, I'll tell you what. I always want to do something that I could wake up every single day thinking about it, going to bed every single night and thinking about that, and having shower and traveling. And actually, since the magic box came to my life, I can tell you, every single night since then, and every single morning, it's the first thing that comes to my mind. You have no idea how powerful it is. So the best thing in my life right now, no doubt, it's the magic box, because I'm so I feel so lucky to be able to connect with so many people around the globe,
Yeah.
hear different stories, learn. You have no idea how my knowledge have grown since I started doing the Magic Box. Different topics, different conversation, open my mind a lot as well about things that for me I wasn't very understanding. So there are so many things that it brought up to me. I have no idea how happy, grateful I feel, doing the Magic Box. And I could do that for 24 hours non-stop because it brings the best of me. It's the biggest joy that now I can tell you, like, it's something that I go to bed and I wake up every morning thinking about is the Magic Box. I have no idea how beautiful and powerful it is.
I think you see that because when you talk about it, you can see the smile on your face, the joy. That's what you want in life. So, if people can see that joy that you have there, that's your aim in life. I mean, it's not that you have to be happy all the time, that you have to be that you have to be with someone, you have to have kids, or you have to have a great job or money. If you have joy, something that gives you such joy in life that you just, it just gives you that sense of worth, validation, happiness, all of that.
Everything.
That's something that should be, I think if I was saying that to young people, that should be your goal then, basically. Find something that you love so much that you can have a passion for it, and that will carry you through life.
The interesting thing, I remember, like, before the lockdown, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about careers, about life, about things, and I was telling him, I was very honest, I said, look, I haven't found yet something that I remember the day I said to him, I haven't found something that you know what I mean, it's something I'm passionate about, but I remember telling him, but it will come one point.
Yeah.
I said, I was sure, I had no doubt that one point it would appear, would come. I would find that somehow. And I'm so grateful through those dark times, 2020, when the world went upside down. I'm so grateful for that moment. Besides the negativity, the sadness, everything, besides that, I'm so grateful because that's when this started. And I'm so grateful for that.
And you know what it is? You found your magic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mark, did you like the interview?
Loved it. Yeah, I wanted to go on for 3 more hours. Should I teach you how to do the floss? Do you want me to go down and show you how to do the floss?
Yes, please.
Before we go. I need to put my floss hat on. Hang on a second. I think I need the right hat for that. So this needs to be the floss. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see if we get the right lighting here, so you can see me flossing.
Yeah, I can see.
All right. You see me? All right, you ready? So you see me flossing here? See my little hat? Yeah. All right, so ready? So come on, 1, 2, everyone ready? Floss. And starting position, go. 1, 2, 3. We'll do it nice and slow to begin with, like that. There we go. Nice and slow. And then we get faster and faster and faster with the beat. That's good exercise. That's good.
Hey! You were born for the floss dancing, that's for sure.
I was, exactly. Tell my husband that, so.
He's gonna see the video, he's gonna go like, oh my God, that's amazing.
He's gonna go, oh no, not again.
Mark, thanks so much for the interview. Enjoy your day, your evening, and also your trip. Now you're going to Bahamas. No, yes, Cayman. Absolutely. Enjoy, and thanks for the interview, and keep in touch. Okay.
Okay. Stay with the magic. Keep magic.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay. Have a good night.
Right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.